Welcome to another video from PixLogik. In this video we're going to begin the process of creating our game. So I've got Unity open in front of me with the Corgi engine, and what we're going to do is we're going to right click on Assets, Create Folder, and we're going to call this, well, for this purpose we'll just call it Test. We're going to open that test folder. We're going to right click in our assets box and we're going to create a scene, which we'll just call test 1. I'll leave it at that just now. We're going to open that up. What you can see is up here in our hierarchy we basically have a main camera. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to go back into the Corgi engine, and we'll go down to Demos and Retro Adventures, and we will open Retro Adventure 1. Now I've done some looking at this before I started, so I've got a general idea where I'm going. Now if we press play on here, for the game I'm going to create, this UI looks ideal because it uses lives. Right, what we're going to do here is we're going to copy the Retro Game Managers, Retro Adventure UI, Retro Camera Rig. We'll take the background music and we'll take the managers. And what we'll do is we'll move them across to our test scenario. Paste that in. We'll remove the camera that is here. Now what we've got is our camera rig, which has got the regular camera inside it. We've got a manager here. It's got the level manager inside, and the level manager holds the level bounds here, which is that yellow box. You can make it bigger or smaller, basically adjust the size to whatever you feel you want the size of your level. I'll probably make this smaller for this game, and I'll go over that when we're actually doing that. So next thing we want to do is create an empty game object, and we're going to call that level. We'll call it levels. Inside that we're going to create our grid that we're going to draw our levels onto. So to do that we need to create an empty object and call it grid. And we'll go over to the inspector, we'll add in a component, grid. Now inside the grid we're going to create a game object, and it's going to be an empty child, and we're going to call that platforms. We're going to set its sorting layer, or the layer up here, to platforms. There we go. We're going to add a tilemap renderer to this. Which will automatically add the tilemap. Set the sorting layer in there to platforms. And then to that we are going to add a rigid body 2D, which we'll open up and set it to static. Then we're going to add a composite collider 2D, And lastly, we're going to add a Tilemap collider 2D. Open that up, and you said tech used by composite. Now you shouldn't have to change any settings on here apart from the ones just mentioned. Make sure that's set to platforms. This means you should now be able to start drawing. We've got the tile palette open here. If the tile palette's not open and you're in Corgi, just go to Windows, 2D, Tile Palette. It'll open it for you. Now let's just take this, for instance, zoom in slightly. Okay, that's just a tester. Let's just make sure we can actually see that. We are going to need a character, obviously, so we'll go back into Retro Adventure. It'll ask to save. We want to save. And open up level and copy level start. Back to test. Drag that into your levels. There we go. And this is where your character will start. So place it somewhere within. This is just to test this is working so far. So press play. Now what's happening is you can't see the platform. So because we copied these over, the transform positions will be in a different area. So make sure the levels set to 0, 0, 0, and you'll see that'll move that around. Okay, so because we've done that and reset that, that's set to 0, that's set to 0. We're going to have to redraw. So we've got the tile palette, you've got an eraser button there, or eraser mark. You can just erase what you've drawn in. And we'll redo that on our boundary. Okay, we'll take our level start, move that back up there, we can inspect that now, reset that, let's have a look, press play, there we go. Now as simple as that, we've got a very basic level set up. We want to change the bounds, make it smaller. So we're going to have to go in here. Now play about with the different options because you can see where it goes. This is your y-axis and your x-axis. I don't want it as long, so I'm going to change that to 30. And because I did that, I'm going to have to take this, move it back. There we go, pop it in there. Let's do a, well, we'll pop a platform in here. Let's stick one there and there. And now we've got the start of our game. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to end it here. In the next video I will block out the rest of this scene with more platforms and complete the boundary. Hope you can join me for that.